Welcome, I'm Melva Persico. Come with me, meet new people, and share their experiences as we take our culture to the world. And today, our guest is Yonette Lewis-Alleyne. And Yonette, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you for including me in this wonderful feature series. My name is Yonette Lewis-Alleyne, and I'm from Guyana, South America. And I know Melva from school days, so we're very familiar with each other. I moved to the United States in 1998 and came straight to California. Um, I'm a mother of 5 children, 2 boys and 3 girls. I've been married. This year is going to be 36 years. Um, I'm also grandmother of 3 boys. And I'm a caterer. I have my own business called Caribbean Gourmet. I started the business in 2015 in Los Angeles, and it's thriving. Thank God for all my wonderful customers, encouragement from my family. My husband is my biggest fan. He also works with me, so he has his regular 9 to 5 job, and then he comes and clocks in with me every day and works. And well, he works longer hours because he's at work at 7, and we sometimes we work until midnight. So my eldest daughter is like my right hand in the business. She helps me with all the finances. She has a finance degree, and she does all my finances and projections, and she helps me out in so many ways, and training, help me to train my other team members and so on. But that's what I do. I'm a caterer, and I enjoy what I do.
Okay, good, good. Yes, and it's nice that it's a family, family business, everybody is involved, everybody pitches in. So that's very good. And I can imagine your life is so busy with children, grown children, but then grandchildren and your business. And you mentioned that you came to the US in 1998 from Guyana. So how was it for you adapting to life in the US?
Um, it was not really hard for me. It was hard for my husband and my children. I came with 3 children here, and the 3 children had a very, very hard time adapting. It's not well, one of them was only 1 year old, so it wasn't, he didn't know what was going on yet. He was a baby. But the two older ones, was it 11 and 8 years old, they had a very hard time because they were not used to the kind of schools, and the culture shock was really, really hard. So that was the hardest thing. My husband had a hard time too because he didn't understand the culture, and then he had to do a job that he didn't like, and he didn't really understand. And it took him like a year to really adapt to America and get the kind of work he wanted. So
Right.
that was hard for me because I had lived in New York when I was younger, in my early 20s. I knew American life.
Mhm.
I knew everything about America for the most part. So it was not hard for me to get integrate into the society because I'd lived here before. I had
Mhm.
gone back to Guyana, but I'd lived here before.
Yes. But
Yeah.
yes, I can understand how difficult it was for your children and and your husband and the kind of culture shock they would have experienced. And but you said you had lived here before, so certain things were, you were used to, and so they weren't strange for you. But what about as a Guyanese in the California area in Los Angeles? How, because I'm not sure what the Guyanese population is there. I know there are lots of Guyanese in New York, but was there anything about Guyana or Guyanese, maybe stereotypes, maybe preconceptions that people had in that area about Guyana and Guyanese that, when you now in your interaction with them, um, cause them to see things differently?
I mean, with the culture here, yeah, I've had people say things that were kind of really demeaning. People think that because we are coming from small countries or countries that are not rich, that we are stupid or we're behind or we're backward. So that's things that have had people change their minds as they see who we are as a people.
Mhm.
Not just me, I promote us, I promote Guyanese, I promote
Right.
Caribbean people, I promote Caribbean people as a whole because we all have the same culture and things. Um, Also, another guy said to me, I was purchasing items for my restaurant, and the rep in charge asked me to, sign off on some stuff. I signed off on it, and then he said to me, "Where did you learn to cook Caribbean food?" I said, "I am Caribbean background." And he said, "No, where did you learn?" I said, "There." And he said, "Wow, the way how you wrote, I can see you're educated. You could not have been educated there. You had to be here." And I
Oh.
said, "What?" I said, do you listen to yourself?" He said, "No, if you came from there, you had to be educated here, not there." So you see, so I hear things like that. And
Mhm.
you have to let people know that we are above that. We speak well. We are educated well. We go to good schools. We come here in America with a good, strong foundation and background. And
Yes.
when they hear us speak and they hear that we have good language and we know how to portray, you know,
Mhm.
that, they're like taken aback, like, wow, really? So
Mhm.
I have things like that. It happens all the time.
Yes, and it's good that you were able to, as we would say that, sort of put them in the place in a sense, let them know.
So
Some people would just be quiet about it, but just tell them nicely. Yes, so that's good.
I don't. If you know the Yonette of now, I don't ever speak quiet. I say it very kindly, but
Mhm.
firmly, and I let people know this is who we are, and we
Mhm.
demand the respect that we deserve. That's how I am. My
Good for
husband,
you.
my husband says, "I don't know how you do it." 'Cause he's very shy. And my daughter said, "Mom, you're not scared of anyone." I said, "No, I speak up and I tell them nicely, this
Mhm.
is how we do it, and this is who we are."
Yes, very good. Kudos to you. So
Uh-huh.
now, having lived here, I know there are things that you do appreciate about America and the culture. Could you share maybe what are some aspects of American culture that you appreciate?
Um, I think the culture of where people here are used to certain standards of the food, because there's so many different kinds of food available. You have to step up. You have to excel. And I appreciate that because of competition. Competition creates, that, and it makes you better because coming from a small country where people don't have that competitiveness as much as here,
Mhm.
that culture here makes you better. It makes you more, you're getting a wider audience. So I appreciate having that to make me always strive to be better than the day before. And also people accepting of what I have to share. I have a lot of people accept what I have to share about me. And I don't speak just about me personally, but about my background, my culture, my people, not just Guyanese, even though Guyanese culture will take a little more precedence because I'm Guyanese.
Exactly. Yes.
I share a lot about where I'm from, and I have a lot of questions to answer. And people are genuinely interested to know about Guyana, especially in California. We're not well known here. And most people try to associate us with, oh, yeah, we heard of Guyana Jonestown. And I'm like, no, no. The Jonestown was an American tragedy on Guyana soil.
Yes.
That's not
Yes.
us. So I do tell people that. But I do appreciate people wanting to know more about us.
Mhm. Yes. And now you mentioned food, which of course this is what you do. You're a caterer, as you told us up front, and we have Caribbean Gourmet, and I know what you do is share your culture, not the Guyanese and Caribbean culture as a whole, through food, through your catering. So maybe could you share what really prompted you to do this and how you go about doing so?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I wanted to do for a long time, and it's something that I was a little scared at the beginning because coming to a country where everything is so different, I was wondering, how am I going to do this on my own? How do I maneuver this? How do I navigate having my own business here? Because in Guyana, throughout my entire marriage life in Guyana, all I did was my own business. I never worked anywhere but with me, and I had a catering business in Guyana.
Mhm.
It was wider than this because I did floral arrangements for weddings. I did bridesmaids, bouquets. I did headdresses for brides. So I did a lot of other things,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to go into all of that here. I just wanted to go back into my food, and it took a while. It took um, almost 14 years of working with two different companies for me to say, okay, now is the time for me to do for me because I
Mhm.
worked a lot of hours. I was working 6 days a week and multiple hours a day, and I was kind of burnt out. I stayed home for 3 years with my children right after that. You know, my husband encouraged me. He said, we could do it. We'll just have to deal with one salary and make it happen. And I did it. I stayed home for 3 years. And after the 3 years, I said, okay, I'm going back to work, but I'm going back for me. And I went back to work and by creating my own business. And here we are.
Yes, that's good. And how was it difficult for you to create your own business as a foreigner in a different country? I mean, even though you had lived here for by this time, by the time you created the business, you had been here for about 17 years. But how easy or difficult was it for you?
It was very difficult. It was difficult to get started in the sense where I didn't have the capital investment. I didn't have the money to start a business. I got a credit card from the bank. I told them I needed a credit card to start a business. And they only gave me $10,000 limit card. And I was like, okay, I'll make it happen. And I used that $10,000 to start.
Mhm.
And I knew that the only way I could start was with the farmer's market because it's the easiest way. And I took my samples to the farmers markets in my neighborhood, and they told me bring it to the office. I took it to the office. Everyone tried it, and five managers said they wanted me, and I was like, oh, I can't do five at one time. I'll do three. I started with three, and then after like a year, I dropped one. It was too much, and that's how I started with the market. So my initial startup cost was $10,000. And
Mhm.
what I did was keep using the proceeds I get and just keep turning over. So for like 3 years, I never got any money for myself. It was all turning back into the business, turning back.
Mhm.
It was hard because I couldn't pay myself for over 3 years.
Mhm.
But here we are. And
Right. And you didn't give up, you persevered. So this is a good example for others, who might be considering doing something like this. It's gonna take a sacrifice. It's gonna be hard at first. You're gonna have to sacrifice something, but then eventually, you just have to stick with it. So that's good that you're sharing that with us. And I know you, like I said, you're Guyanese, but then you don't only prepare Guyanese food. Could you tell us about some of the other kinds of some of the dishes that you prepare that are Guyanese, but some that are not only Guyanese from the wider Caribbean that you prepare as part of your catering service?
well, the reason why I know I can't just do Guyanese food is because of the Guyanese population in California. California is huge. It's 40 million people, but it's so huge. People are so far away. So there are a lot of Guyanese here, but for me to do a business on just Guyanese food, it would be a little marginalizing myself. So
Yes.
I started off with mainly Guyanese food, but then I would get a lot of customers that were Jamaican and Trinidadian and other islands, and they would say to me, "I love your food; it's really good. Can you make this or can you make that?" And there were a few dishes that I never made, and I told them I'm not sure if I could make it, but I will try. And I made it, and it was a hit. And they were like, "Wow, you did it right." And when as soon as I make something, I can't stop because they get the fan base. So I was like, the first thing I made, Jamaicans were asking me for maybe a year, can you make me oxtail stew? Can you make it oxtail stew? I know my mom used to make oxtail in their pepper pot. That's the
Mhm.
only time I remember her making oxtail in the pepper pot. So when
Mhm.
they're asking me for a particular oxtail stew, I didn't really know about it. And I am not a meat eater. So I was like, ooh, how do I make this? But I figured it out, and it's like one of our best-selling items. Then I
And
moved
I
on.
noticed that you show on your Instagram you're preparing that every week, and I
That's
see you do doubles and all kinds of stuff,
yes,
Trinidadian.
yes. My grandfather's Trinidadian, and I also have my other grandfather was from Saint Lucia,
Mhm.
sorry, Saint Kitts.
Mhm.
So there is a little. I know a little of the cuisine there, a little, but then I have these customers who travel a lot, even though they're not Caribbean, and they would say, "I went to Trinidad and the doubles was good. Could you make doubles?" And I'm like, I'm not sure. Okay, I'll make it. Then I make it, and then now it's a hit. And the other dishes like the current rolls, which is a pastry. It's not the Guyanese thing, but
But I think they do that in Trinidad a lot, right? Yeah.
Trinidad and Barbados.
Yeah, Barbados too, yes. Mhm.
And I started making that. I have to make it all the time. And then there's some other dishes that most of the Caribbean know, like cassava pone. Everybody knows about that. And they can't find it here unless they get it from me because I
Mhm.
have taken my business to a level where you can go online and order from me. You could call me. You could, and then now opening up a restaurant in the next few weeks, they can come in and eat there. They can also um, order and come pick up.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Right, and you're leading me right into what I was going to talk about next, because you mentioned you're going to open a restaurant soon, so that is you're taking your business to an even wider clientele. So tell us a little bit about your plans for the restaurant, and you said soon you're going to open, where you're going to be located, maybe if it's what it's going to be called. So tell us about the restaurant.
well, the restaurant is gonna be the same name that we use, which is Caribbean Gourmet.
Mhm.
And the reason why I named my business Caribbean Gourmet when I started is because I do our food gourmet. It's not just, it's very comforting food, but it has that real restaurant quality. And if you go and you get a plate of when we plate our food, it's like, wow. So I make everything gourmet because I use the highest quality ingredients. People are amazed at the taste, and I said, yeah, because I don't use margarine. I don't use any. Everything is all my pastries are made with 100% butter, high grade. All my meats come from the most reputable companies like Costco and their business department. All my meats, Restaurant Depot. So because of that, I could, market my food as gourmet because of the flavors and the quality. It's outstanding. And
Let me ask you, excuse me, let's just pause here quickly. I just want to interject something. And then when you say, and I'm hoping you're going to share some pictures, but gourmet, yes. I mean, I've seen your bacon saltfish that you post on Instagram. And bacon saltfish is something as ordinary as you can get in Guyana. But when I look at Yonette's bacon saltfish, it it's gourmet. I see the colors and I see the red and the green, and I've seen little things that appetizers that you've done with like right plantain and with shrimp in it, and everything is so well presented and well plated. It is
Thank you.
indeed gourmet. So, but
Oh,
anyway,
thank you. And that's what my concept is that you're getting the food that you grew up with, the food that you know, but I make it gourmet. The way I plate it, as I said, and you saw it, and the way when you eat it, you could taste the quality because the ingredients are the best, and nobody ever complains about, oh, I don't want to pay $7 for a bacon sausage because it's a price. But when they get it. The size of it is a meal. They're getting a meal, and then the presentation, and then the taste. So um, that's how I started my business, and that's how I continued it to be gourmet. And the restaurant is a much needed Guyanese Caribbean restaurant for California. It's a small space, so we're starting with, and I think we're gonna really blossom, bigger with this because there's so much anticipation. Every time we do our events, people are, when is opening date? Let me know. I want to be there. Come on, please. So I still can't give a date as yet because we have so many inspections from the city and they're constantly making sure things are perfect. They told me tomorrow we can move in to the space. Everything is waiting ready. I could start cooking tomorrow and start selling the next day.
mhm.
So I'm
Well,
just ready.
you by the time we air this, because we're pre-recording this, most likely you'll be open. So as long as if we, you open, I'm gonna share with our viewers with well, we know it's Caribbean Gourmet, where you're located, and all that, so that the people in the area, or when they visit your area, they could go ahead and visit your restaurant and um, try your delicious foods. So let's just, I know you mentioned earlier about the ways in which the competition in the US has, as well as the way that, the standards of food preparation and so on have impacted on you and pushed you forward, and really motivated you to excellence in your business. Is there anything else about living in the United States that has impacted you in terms of just business, food preparation, or anything in general that you would like to share?
Um, the thing is with in the United States is that one of the things is you having a business, you gotta have certain certification, and because I've worked in food all the time I've been here, I've been certified in food handling, and those are exams you have to take every 3 years,
Mhm,
and training and then exams. So that all of that has been a plus for me.
mhm,
I have been able to take things to the next level because I have the certification showing that I'm a food handler, I'm certified, I'm a food manager. Um, Also, in the United States, there's a lot of regulations. So the regulations have made me more aware of what I need to do, where I need to be, you know, so things like that.
You know what? There was something else that I meant to ask you, and I forgot when we were talking about the restaurant. So I'm going to backtrack to that a little bit. Um, you had mentioned to me when we spoke earlier about the fact that sometimes you're able to showcase your business and Caribbean culture through food, through different shows, like cooking shows and so on. So could you share a little bit about that with us?
I do cooking classes, private cooking classes through Zoom. So if someone wants to learn to make certain dishes, they would talk to me. Then I would send them like a menu, what we need to do, and I would do the class with them online. Sometimes it's like a party. You might have a husband might say my wife's birthday, and I want to have a cooking class for 10 of her friends and for she and her friends, and we talk about how much it's going to cost, and I would send them and what the menu. is, and then I send them a list of ingredients for them to purchase. If they're close by, if they're close to me, I will get the ingredients and put all the measurements for how many people, deliver it to them, and then they would cook along with me. And then at the end of that, that's their party food we eat.
Yeah.
So um, I do that. Also, I've done cooking class where for kids, where they might have a birthday party for little kids and they want to make things like patties and little pastries and stuff. And I would have a on hands there, right there with the kids in the kitchen, and we do a cooking party. And then now I've done a few other classes, cooking classes for nonprofits, and then
Okay, wow, you have a lot going on. You have a lot going on. But there was also something else I wanted to discuss with you. We talked a lot about preparing Guyanese and Caribbean food, but we don't want to think that you just pigeonhole into that line of food only. So if you could just share um, what other kinds of food that you prepare.
yeah, I do a lot of other foods. I do parties and I do weddings, and sometimes like I've done a few weddings, which is a totally fully Italian wedding, and people would approach me to do their wedding, say, okay, I have 180 people and it's all Italian. Could you send me some menus? And people are like, wow, how come they chose you? I said, because they've had my Italian food before and I got recommendations. And then they tasted it and they're like, wow. And so I've done events, multiple weddings, birthdays, Italian food, Indian food. The Indian food is even, it's a given because I'm from Guyana, so I know a lot of Indian food. Um, I do a little bit of Chinese, not everything. I do a lot of Southern food and American food. A little bit of Greek too, but there are only certain things I would do. And I do my main deal, which is the Caribbean, all the different islands, so many different, because even though we are Caribbean people, we have certain things that are exclusive to us.
Yes. Mhm.
Guyana, we got our pepper pot and our cook up rice. And then I remember I had to do a party for some Bahamians and they wanted their special dessert, guava duff. And there are things that I've never made before. And I said, okay, I can make it because I'm a baker by trade. My main thing is that I'm a baker and a cake decorator. So wedding cakes was my main thing I did in Guyana, and I still do wedding cakes here. I don't advertise it much because honestly, it takes too much of my time. When I yeah, when I started this business, I started off just doing mostly baked goods, and then I branched off into hot foods, but it was mainly baked goods. It was all like baked goods and drinks, like sorrel and tamarind and sour sop drinks and Marby and stuff like that. But and I now I sell them like they're bottled, 16
Okay.
bottles and stuff. And I promote myself as Caribbean, but then most people know that I do so many other cuisines. So if anyone wants to have an event that is not Caribbean and they tell me what they want, they'll most times I will accept it because I know to make that food. And I've worked in food all the time since I've been living in this country.
So, and that's good that you can you're not just specialized in one area. You can do multiple kinds of food. You're a caterer in general. Yes.
Yeah.
So just last couple of things that we could talk about before we close off. What are some lessons in general that you have learned from living outside of your home country?
I learned that there's a lot of stereotypes. They stereotype women of minority women. We stereotype like we like they make us feel like we're not capable. Or I find that if I was not a minority, I think I would have gotten a little further faster. because people don't really see my worth as much. But recently it's gotten better. People are a little more aware. Um, so that's one of the things. Being a woman is minority is harder. You got to prove yourself so much. You got to jump through hoops. You got to, you know, you got to push. You can't be laid back because you get left behind. Always got to be on top of your game. You always have to do two or three times better than the next person for the judges to see you and say, oh, yes, yes, they know what they're doing. And it's working because I just got an interview that from the LA Times food magazine, was printed yesterday. It's in print now, came out yesterday's Sunday's newspaper. And I'm getting a lot of calls, a lot of people calling me on it. And the LA food critic, he has visited my food establishment twice unknown to me because they have to be secret. I bought my food
Okay.
and put it up in the LA Times about it twice already for the year,
Wow.
photos and everything talking about it. So you have to do much better than the next person with your craft. I
Mhm.
always have to be on top of my game. I always have to, and one of the main things I think has made me really successful is customer service. And people in my Yelp reviews always say the customer service is outstanding, but that was not hard. It's
Mhm.
not hard because we're from a country where hospitality is big with us. You go to
Mhm.
Guyana, people invite you into their home and they always trying to feed you, and people
Mhm.
take their shirt off their back for you. So we have that culture where we reach out and welcome you in. So when a customer come up to me and they say, and I greet them with a smile, thanking them for supporting my family business. When they hear that, they're like, wow, people want to hear you appreciate them supporting you.
Yes.
They want
Mhm.
to support you when you show appreciation.
Mhm.
I've learned a lot from that, and I continue to do it, and it works. Um, Also, in the United States, even though you have to have higher standards because of the regulations and all the different it's a lot of regulations. People who get into business for the first time are like, oh my gosh, they either you got to be strong and tough or you jump. You have to step out. It's a tough thing. And I tell you the truth, even though I've been doing it for a while, the first 6 months was so hard. I almost thought of quitting, but I'm not a quitter. I'm like, no.
And it's
I
good that you're not a quitter.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Even though I'm getting 3 hours of sleep a night, I'm gonna do this until
Mhm.
I do it right, And
Mhm.
I just say that it's not a walk in the park.
Yeah,
You
right,
just say,
right. And yeah, you've shown us that, you've told us that, and but congratulations, you really you've
thank
worked hard and you're seeing the results, and I'm sure you're gonna see even greater results as you move forward with the, with your restaurant and so on.
you.
So
I encourage a lot of other people who are upcoming entrepreneurs. Regardless of where they're from, I encourage them. Lots of people they kind of use me like a mentor, and I encourage them to not quit. Don't give up. I don't care how hard it is for them. I tell them, no, you don't give up that easily. Keep doing it. Keep working it. You'll see the results, but it takes time. And I tell them it's patience. That word patience, you gotta have. You have to have patience because nothing successful comes overnight. It's
nice.
yeah, it's either you have patience or you just get luck, you know? You're either extremely lucky or you got to use patience because it's a lot of patience to get here and to
I,
move.
and I believe it's more the patience and the determination than the other thing, than the love. Okay. So finally, Janet, how what if you could just share your thoughts on, just to wrap up on what you feel is the importance of appreciating other cultures and being able to share your own culture.
Well, we all have a story. We all have somewhere where we started. And we need to, this is what we call community. we're all a community, you know, it's a village, this community of togetherness, of bonding, of sharing our love for food. And food brings people together.
Yes. Mhm.
Food is like, you know, the warmth. It brings more conversation. It brings all the different races together. We could sit and eat together. Everybody eats. Everybody likes food or loves food. And I think we need to appreciate each other, embrace culture, because I embrace mine and I'm proud of where I'm from. I think I said it recently to one of my team members. I said I am lucky to be born in a culture where there's so much richness. There's so much to share, so much to learn, and I share it. One of my team members knew nothing about Caribbean culture before she started working with me. She knew nothing, and I taught her so much, and now she's promoting it in her group where
Mhm.
she's bringing in orders. She's talking about it. She's even pairing things and say, you got to get this to go with that. You can't get that without a tamarind drink. You got, you know. So we all have each other to share. Another one of my um, industry fellow workers. She has her own business and she is she's from Vietnam, and she also lived most of her life in New Zealand, and she lives here now. And she had a hard time starting. She's still going through the teething stages, and I told her, no, come work along with me for a few weeks and see what I do, and you could put that into your business. And she did that, and she blossomed because
Right. Wonderful.
yeah, she texts me all the time. Yeah, Annette, I'm having a little difficulty with this and that. What do you think? And so that's what I'm doing is sharing what I know with others
Yes.
regarding the culture. Because you know what, as I said, it's a community. And I believe,
Yes.
we share each other in so many.
Exactly. There was this, as they say, no man is an island. We're not isolated. We have to share with others, and yes, of course. Um,
Especially minority women, especially Caribbean women and men too. I mean, female and male, but I find a lot of women, I think maybe because they want a perspective from a woman. They always ask me what I have done and how can they do the same thing. And you know
mhm.
what I do? I'm giving them that space. I'm like, okay, come into this slot and let me help you. I don't
Yes,
want you to struggle.
that's commendable. Yes, you mentoring them and helping them to now go out on their own and stand on their own 2 feet. Very good, very good. So, Yonette, thank you so much. I'm so happy you were able to make some time. This is your only day off for the week, and you made some time to talk with us, to share your experiences as someone who has migrated to the US and who has benefited from living here and US culture. And or you also benefit in the society in which you live by sharing aspects of your culture with the society. So thank you so much. And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. We're going to see you soon as we meet new people and share their experiences in our next episode of Our Culture to the World.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.